I am Samantha, citizen of the world. I've lived in 8 different countries around the world, experiencing new cultures.
Any bias or any stereotypes that you came across?
I was gonna go offshore in Mexico, and I was super excited. I was just like with my backpack, my green coverall, and everything. And then I got a call, and they told me, you know what? You're not gonna be able to go today offshore.
How it become difficult when you have a family along with you? How are you balancing that act?
I don't think it's never 50-50. I think that balance is something that is very unique for each individual, okay? I can tell you that my first rule is it's so exciting to be in this industry. I have always said it. If you want to transform something, you need to do it from the inside.
This is the Oil and Gas Breaking Bias show, where we are going to invite industry leaders to talk about their journeys and also technologies of tomorrow in an effort to break some of the biases that might have formed around this energy industry. Hello, everyone. I hope you are happy and healthy. I'm Ananja, and you are listening to the Oil and Gas Breaking Bias show. This show is about leaders who have made it big in this energy industry while breaking some of the biases around them. And today we have an incredible guest, Samantha Martinez Castillo, a dynamic leader in the energy industry with over 2 decades of experience. Currently, she works as America's Land Vice President at SLB, and she has started her journey as a field engineer for wirelines before taking various roles across human resources, technology, and operation. So let's deep dive into her amazing journey and also get her insight on leadership and learn about this fast-changing future of oil and gas industry. So with that, Samantha, it's an honor to have you on my show today. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Anand. Thank you for inviting me to your podcast. I'm very happy to be here with all of you today.
Thank you so much for taking your time. And as we said, as we're discussing before, it's very hard to have these kind of discussion. So I really appreciate your coming here to talk about the journey, your amazing journey, and also to share what everybody can learn from it. But before we deep dive into your journey, we talked about your Lego wall. So let's talk about your Lego wall. This looks amazing, and engineer mind, like somewhere it's your engineer mind.
I wish I could claim it as is mine, but it's actually not. It's actually my husband's collection. So he's a Lego fan together with my son. So I have a 7-year-old, and they are actually building a Lego city. They are collecting minifigures. So I was telling you, I wish you could see like the walls in this room. They're full of like minifigures, and obviously like it has all the collections of all Star Wars, all like Ninjago, like every single thing that you can think of is there. And behind that door, that's the secret door where he keeps like all his collection of boxes that he hasn't actually opened. And that one day he will, together with my son, they will open and they will put it on display in one row.
Okay, that's a good hobby. Yeah, that's why we're talking about this. This is a really good hobby, and that keep sharp your
Expensive
mind.
one. Yeah, no, it's very good for creativity.
Yeah.
I think that I highly recommend it.
I can imagine. No, thank you so much. So, as we're discussing before, like you had an incredible journey. You started in Mexico. You work as a field engineer, and now you are leading like one of the important operation for SLB, who is the world leader in oil and gas industry anyway. Like the people who works in oil and gas industry, they are well aware about SLB and what they do. So, without any further delay, can you walk us through your incredible journey and how you reach wherever you are today, or any of the biases that you might came across?
So let me start. So like, hi, I'm Samantha. I'm Mexican. So I grew up in a very small town in Mexico. It's called Tepic. It's one of those little towns where you have one Starbucks, one cinema kind of thing. And as you said already, like I started my professional career with SLB 21 years ago. When I first started my career, I knew very little about oil and gas. Okay. All I knew is that it was just full of technology and innovation with a lot of challenges, especially for women. And I told myself that I was going to be here only for 5 years. And I said, after 5 years, I think I'm just going to quit and I'm going to start my own business. And I think, that talking to some other people, that's a relatable story. Most
Yeah.
of the people that join, they join thinking that, okay, I'm just gonna make money. It's oil and gas. And then after that, I'm gonna be rich millionaire, and then I'm gonna quit.
Then I'll
So
go somewhere else. And now
exactly.
after 20 years, you're still there.
After 20 years, I'm still here. Just as excited as I was in my first day. As I mentioned already, there were very few women in my area, and really, I really wanted to pave the way for others. There were a lot of like challenges at that time, and then obviously right now, like you see that the companies are actually like doing a lot of programs for diversity, inclusion, equity in order to be where we are today. I think that the growing in a small town in Mexico and then now having an international career. So I have actually moved. I have lived in 8 different countries around the world. I mean, experiencing new cultures, learning from them. I think it's something that it's very enriching. I think that that's something that is part of who I am today, citizen of the world, if you wanna say it like that. But it doesn't come without its challenges. Like
Yes, I can
you
imagine.
you need to learn how to be adaptable, uh, how to have flexibility, how to really have resilience. Because in all these times, obviously, change not only countries, I change jobs as well.
Hmm.
So every time that I was changing a country, it was a new assignment.
Oh, really?
So I have done, I mean, you mentioned some of the things, but I have done supply chain, I have done communications, I have done line management, human resources, and then every time you start from scratch.
Totally
So then,
different. Totally different roles all the time. It needs courage. And we'll talk
no,
more about it.
and like besides like courage, I think that if you ever have an opportunity to experience all these different fields, then just do it because it's gonna add up to your backpack. Like every single role has given me something different. Sometimes, like in all the functions, it's really that you need to lead by influence. You need to
Uh-huh.
manage your role like in a very different way that you do it in a line management role. So I believe that every role that I have taken has been really a stepping stone, teaching me valuable lessons and learnings to shape who I am today. So I think that if I have some friends that they have changed companies very often, I feel that I have changed companies, like every single time that I move, because I have moved every 2 or 3 years.
That's
And then
amazing.
every time it's so I have been like very blessed by the company to have been given this opportunity to be exposed to different countries, different cultures, and different roles
Yes.
that have helped me to grow professionally as well. No?
So you have broken actually many biases, as you said, like you're starting from a small town in Mexico, then going around the world in new culture, new roles all the time, And how was breaking those biases? How was your comfort level? Like any or any bias or any stereotypes that you came across?
I mean, I can tell you that you face challenges from the moment that that like I'm gonna tell you just a small story. When I was in Mexico, that was like 20 years ago. And then I was super excited. You're this engineer that you want to do everything. And then they were going to send me offshore. That was the first time that I was going to go offshore in Mexico. And I was super excited. I was just like with my backpack, my green coverall and everything. And then I got a call. I got a phone call. And they told me, you know what? You're not going to be able to go today offshore. And I was
Okay.
like, why? I'm ready. Like I did my
Yeah.
training, everything. You know, they don't want females because you're going to be the only female. And then in one room, they can accommodate 6 guys.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
then in order for you to go, they have to kick out of the room 6 guys.
Yes. That's a
So
big
then,
challenge, actually. That's a really big challenge. It used to be. I
so
think now things have changed now, but yeah, please continue.
no, I mean, logistically, it just didn't make any sense.
Yes.
And I got it. I said, okay, fine. And they said, you know what? I don't believe that you don't have a male engineer to send us, which was true. Okay.
Mhm.
So the company didn't push back. And then obviously the customer was just like that. So then that was it, no? So then fine, I said like, okay, your loss, like I'm going to go to my land locations, which is easy. But the reality is that in order for us to grow in this diversity and inclusion journey, both the service companies and the operators, they need to be ready. And
Yes.
there has to be the infrastructure, there has to be like beyond just mindset and beyond just wanting to do it, because they
Yes.
really wanted to do it.
Yes.
The infrastructure wasn't there.
Definitely. So we all have to work as a community to bring that inclusivity and diversity in our workforce. And you made really good point. As an individual, you believed you can do that, you were ready to do that, but the infrastructure could not support. But how do you see like change in after 2 decades?
I think that the industry is changing. I think that you can see. I have a very nice picture when 80% of the crew is actually females. From the petrophysics, the well site leader, the company, we call it company man. It was not a
Yes.
company man, it was a company woman, So so I think that just in general, the energy industry is evolving and is adapting, because at the end of the day, it's about adding value.
Mm.
So then it's about not leaving out that 50% of the workforce that is there and
Yes.
that can bring something different to the table.
It reminds me of one of my conversation actually I had a few months ago, and I met one lady. She worked on drilling rigs in 70s actually.
Oh, wow.
Yes, and she was telling me that story like a woman was not allowed to work on the rigs, so she used to dress like a man.
Oh man, that looks like a movie.
Yeah,
I've seen
it's
that as
like
a
a
movie.
movie, and I could not believe like that was it was happening like not long ago, like 30 40 years ago,
Shit.
and she said like she had to support her family, and so she dressed like a man and she used to go on those drill rigs.
That breaks my heart, that people had to go through that just to work at the end of the day.
And also you talk about you moved into different roles and different part of the world. What kind of challenge that you have faced and how you overcame? Because it's not easy. Yeah, I have done by myself. I moved into like 5 different countries, but every time you move, there is excitement, but also there is some complexity comes with it.
Yeah, I mean, you're rightly said it. There's the initial excitement of like, ooh, I'm moving.
Yeah.
And then when you get there, it's like, shoot, I'm moving. I think the first one, whenever you moved into a country where they don't speak your language, I think the
Yes.
language barrier is the first one to overcome. And I have tried very hard to actually learn the language. So when I first moved to Brazil, obviously, I mean, Spanish and Portuguese is similar, but it's not until you need to like really speak and write and all those things. So I took the commitment to actually learn Portuguese so I could communicate with the people, to
Mhm.
communicate with my crew, the ones that were working with me, to communicate with the customer, and then just in general. And it makes life so much easier because you are part of the culture. It's not, they don't need to accommodate you. You need to really try to get immersed
You have
into
to fit
into
in
their
that
culture.
culture.
Exactly. I mean, to make it a fun experience, I think that learning about their culture and then what makes them unique, I think that's the best way to do it. No, so once you have that in the bag, I think that the rest of the things, then you learn to appreciate everything that is going as well around you.
What was your most challenging assignment?
Should we started already the rapid questions, the rapid fire
No, no,
questions, and
no,
I
no,
didn't notice.
no.
Yeah, no, and I can tell you, all of them, they have had something. There's always like the first 6 months of this learning curve was like of, oh shoot, am I gonna make it, or I'm not gonna make it, and they're gonna send me back home. I think that from the first times when I was field engineer, and then you're 24 hours awake and all these things, and you're like, man, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to make it. Or in the roles in HR where you think that it's easy, and it's actually not easy. Like there's a
Yes.
lot of like processes and procedures and laws that you need to know in order to make it. When I was same thing, supply chain. So every every role has had its own unique
Yeah,
challenges. Like
makes sense.
I think that, and for example, at the beginning, obviously, I started just by myself. It was like one suitcase full of books because I like reading, another suitcase full of clothes, and another one full of shoes because I love shoes. I'm a shoe addict. I have a problem. And that was it. And I was moving every time I was moving,
Yes,
it
yeah.
was just that. But then I met my husband in Malaysia. He works as well for SLB. And then we started moving together. So then it's not one person, it's two.
It's not easy.
And
Yes.
then after that, then we got married. And then we moved to actually here to the US. And then my son Owen was born. So then it's not two, now it's three, and it's a baby. So the move with a baby, I can tell you, it was. I think you were asking about like challenging situations. I think that moving with a baby in a family to a new country, speaking French and all that, that was not easy at the beginning. Thankfully, I had already learned French. Like my dad, I'm terrible at sports, by the way, super bad. But then my dad had the mission to put me into languages. So
Okay.
I learned French before, so then I knew how to communicate at that time. And then when coming back here, then my son was already like 4 year old. He was 4 to 5. And then when I told him like we're moving, and he's like, I don't want to move. Like I'm French, he was telling me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because he already had some friends and some groups there.
Exactly. So then he was, no, you're not French. You're actually American. So then, okay, you're going to have a puppy
Yeah.
and a pool. And then he said, okay, fine, I'm moving. Which, by the way, like I promised a puppy, and then I hope that nobody listens to this that is part of my family, because I haven't done the puppy part. The pool, yes, but not the puppy yet. But it starts to get like more complex as you grow in family, and then it's not only about you, it's about as well them.
Yes, you had really good point because I came across so many women leaders, and they always talk about how balancing their family, work, and health and the mental condition of theirs. How do you see I'm you already hit like how it become difficult when you have a family along with you. How are you balancing that act?
I don't think it's never 50-50. I think that balance is something that is very unique for each individual. And you put your own priorities and you put your own boundaries, and that's how you set what works for you. Okay. I can tell you that my first rule is do not try to be perfect. Do not try to be the perfect mom, the perfect spouse, the perfect professional, because then you're not going to be able to hold all the balls, crystal balls
Yes.
in the air. Like something is going to fall. So I think that when you let go that feeling of perfectionism, that's when you really start being able to handle the rest of the things.
I can imagine like because there's so much that's going on. You cannot be perfect on everything, and sometimes
Yes,
you have to compromise what is priority for you.
exactly like that. What is you need to put what is important for you.
Yes, definitely.
Just to give you an example, like with my team, they know that 7:30 to 8, I'm gonna, like, if my husband is traveling, I'm gonna drop my son to the school. So then I don't take calls at that time, and I don't take calls at 5 p.m. because I need to pick my son up. So then,
Definitely.
so then setting set
You set the boundaries. Yes, yes,
exactly.
yes.
But that doesn't mean, by the way, that after he goes to sleep, I go back to work sometimes. So if
Yes.
there's something important that I need to finish, I don't mind having a quiet time, quality time with my family, having dinner or doing something with them. And then at my own time and convenience, then I just connect back, and then I put emails ready to be sent the next day or so on. I think it's about respect. Respect the personal and professional time. I think that that's for me what balance means. No.
Definitely. If you're mindful, then you can do all these things.
Yes.
So you hit so many of the different bullet points, but where this industry is going towards now, if somebody is coming to this industry, what they can do better to overcome any of the challenges or opportunities that you see in the industry today.
I mean, the energy industry right now is going through such an amazing transformation, and it's so exciting to be in this industry. Like, I don't want to sound like, that I'm trying to do my elevator pitch to convince people to join oil and gas or and so on. But the reality is that if you want to, and I have always said it, if you want to transform something, you need to do it from the inside.
I can imagine.
You
Yes.
cannot do it from the outside. And there's so many challenges, and at the same time, things that we can do, which is towards decarbonization. I think that that's a big one. Obviously, the pressure and the need to reduce or carbon emissions is there. We have realized that it's not a switch. Like
No,
oil and gas is not going
no.
to end tomorrow. It's a
Yes.
transition. At the end of the day, we're just evolving. All the renewable energy, like solar, eolic, and then you have even like carbon sequestration projects. A lot of the technology is coming actually from the traditional oil and gas.
Yes.
So all the technology, innovation, digital, AI, machine learning, automation, or like all of these is really going to help to optimize processes, production, energy consumption. We will be able to predict demand, adjust supply, reduce operating costs. Like it's one
There's so
one
much
of
going on.
so much going
I
on.
can see your excitement.
Like I have this passion for
I can imagine.
technology, and I think that there's so many interesting things that people can do. So if there's anybody young in the audience, please join this industry. I think this is the industry to be in.
I could relate to this sentiment. This industry is not going anywhere. So
Yes,
I have mentioned multiple times on my show, this industry is going through transition, and which is bringing new opportunity, as Samantha has mentioned about like AI, like very cool things like that is happening in this industry. So if you're listening, then get ready, and this kind industry has lots of opportunities to offer. So with that, Samantha, I'm going back to your journey. Like you have achieved a lot in your life, in your career. But if you're given a choice, what changes you could have make to make your journey better?
or should. I think I already mentioned one, which is the perfectionism, which
Uh-huh.
is the enemy of growth. I think that I have always been like too worried about having everything perfect. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
I think that that's one of the things that I will change. Another one is that not to worry too much, because no, but and it's true.
Yes.
You realize that things are temporary.
I can
Sometimes
imagine. Yes.
you're on the top, you're feeling great, but then you need to be careful because you shouldn't be too comfortable because it might pass.
Yes.
Okay. And then the opposite might apply. And then you might be like super in
Down
the
like
bottom. You
yes, yes.
exactly you feel that in the bottom, then do not give up. Like keep pushing because that phase of feeling down, it will pass as well. There's nothing really like permanent in this world. So then just be ready to adapt. I think adaptability is something that it will help in when you are up or if you are down as well.
Oh, you have summarized really well. And sometimes when we are down, we go in what if scenarios. Like you don't want to come out. I could have
Yes.
done this. I could have done that.
Yeah.
Did you
We're going to
you
spin
you
it.
also went through the same thing? I can imagine like everybody else. And especially it's tough when you are perfectionist. You
Yeah.
want to make everything the way you want.
Yes. But again, you need to learn how to let go. Let
Yes.
go because again, as I said, it's the enemy of growth. And
Yes.
then you really want to keep growing. I think that in any like professionally, personally, and so on.
And so we all go through this thing. So I only thing I will say, like everybody go through the same emotions, but it's depending upon us which emotion is much stronger. If you're down, things will change. If you're up, then also it will change. So stay kind, stay focused, and
Mhm.
look for the work towards your future, and don't stuck in the past.
Yeah, correct. That's
That brings us to our interesting part of our show, which is rapid fire round.
Okay.
The question I asked you before, it was not a part of rapid fire round. So now we
Now we got
now rapid fire round will start. So just whatever comes up to your mind, let's see how quickly you can handle
I'm
those
ready.
bullets. Okay. So let's start. What's one leadership trait you value the most?
Wow. I think that the honesty, honesty, because it gives you the basis to build trust.
I fully agree. And honesty towards you and also the people around you. I think
Yes.
that goes both ways. Really good one. Coffee or tea to power through a busy day?
I'm gonna tell you something. If you had asked me that a month ago, none of them,
Or
because
really?
I
Okay.
don't didn't drink coffee, and then tea is just for pleasure, like you wanna like. But now it's coffee. So
Okay. Okay. Good.
yeah.
Good one. If you could swap jobs with anyone for a day, what would it be?
Oh, wow. You know what? I would like to have Elon Musk job right now, just to see if I could make anything.
Always stay in the media.
Just to see if I could do something like
Uh,
good out of that one for a day.
no, that's a good one. What's one thing on your desk that always makes you smile?
I have a picture of my son, and I have always things that my son does in the school. I have right now. This is not my desk because
Yeah.
I changed because of the sound. But in mine, you will have like little handcrafts that my son has done for me.
That's
That
amazing.
I always turn to them, and then it just makes my day.
We talk about balancing your work and life. So that question goes with it. Early bird or night owl when it comes to your work mode?
Should not at all an early person. I'm a night owl. 300.
I think I'm trying to be early bird, and I will say like last few weeks is not easy.
It goes against my nature. I'm too Latin, to be like, for me it's night. That's it.
I can imagine. No, that's brilliant. So I would say you have taken all the question really good, and you pass with the flying colors. That's great. So we are running out of time, but few things, Samantha. I want to pick your brain on. If somebody is looking to make a big in this energy industry, we already hit multiple points. But if to summarize in one or two key takeaway, what those would be?
I think I'm gonna leave you with one, which is continuous learning. Okay. I think that one in any industry, it's a valuable skill to have. Actively participate in workshops, webinars, training, informal or formal, just to stay up to date into everything that is going on, new technologies, regulations, industry developments, and and not only on the technical side, try to develop soft skills. Okay,
Yes.
um, cultivate strong communication, problem solving, emotional intelligence. I
Yes.
think those are some of the soft skills that are above the technical piece, are going to actually help you to take your career to the next level.
I fully agree. Again, this learning never stops. Like it doesn't
Yes,
matter how long you are in this industry. Like every time, as we already talked about the industry and it's the industry community culture is everything changes all the time. And also like a new workforce always coming. Also, you need to
correct,
work with them. You need to connect with them. So also learning about not just technology but also the you need to connect them on emotionally and personally. So I think that
correct.
soft skills will help. Great. And last not the least, because this show is about the bias, and we already talked about a few of the bias. But what is the one bias that is still exists in the industry, and how can we overcome on it?
I think that people and young people have the perception that this industry is old fashioned. And as I already said, it's not. It's full of technology and innovation. So I think that that's something that it was in the past, and it continues to be, and even greater than before. So I think that it's an industry that is it's here to stay.
And I think where industry not did well actually, like you see like the technology industry, like
Yeah,
everybody knows those names, correct? But when you go outside our industry, except few big names, not many people know about the big brands that they are serving this in the energy industry. So I think we as a company, or we as a people in the industry, we should talk more and more about the industry. And these companies, they also promote and try to connect with somebody on the consumer level, because these are like mostly B2B business. So yes, you are well established brand, but not everybody knows what SLB or what ABB and like what Siemens is doing on the day-to-day basis and how they're impacting their life.
Yeah, no, fully agree with you. There's some we have some job to do, you know, and then I think your podcast is helping and serving that. So thanks to you for that.
Thank you. And I think that was an idea to bringing stories like that, bringing some positivity about this energy industry so people can learn from it and can get motivation to join this industry and take this message to somebody who doesn't know about this oil and gas industry. I really appreciate Samantha for taking your time and talk about your incredible journey, and I hope everybody could relate to it and learn from it. So with that, before we sign off, anything to add here, Samantha?
No, I think that thank you for inviting me. Thank you for having me, and I hope that if we can help like one person, as you told me earlier,
Yes.
I think that that will be good enough for me. Like with my piece, like grain of salt, helping the more people joining this industry as well.
I can promise you more than one person will able to learn from it and connect with it. And that's what we are all trying to do. So with that, I will sign off for today. Keep listening, Oil and Gas Breaking by Show. See you next week. Have a great day.
Thank you.